movies, television, streaming. They've got opinions, strong ones, and they don't mind sharing them. You're watching Review RapTable with hosts Carla Renata, Jasmine Simpkins, and John Murray. Tune in right now.
Hey, our featured attraction is Focus Features film, The High Note, starring Tracee Ellis Ross, Ice Cube, and Dakota Johnson. Jasmine, you're up first today.
Well, guys, the film really did not hit a high note for me. It hit more of a low note. I was not impressed with the film overall. And Tracee Ellis Ross, her singing was also a low note. With regard to the film, I did not think it was great or amazing. I did, however, think Kelvin Harrison Jr. was amazing. He was a high note for me. I thought his singing was superb and fabulous. I was so happy that he was included, so it kind of balanced out some of the bad singing. I mean, at one point, I was like, does she hear that? Can she hear that? Because it just sounded very flattish as opposed to... So it was not music to my ears. I'm so sorry. Lastly, I felt like in terms of range and depth, I just wasn't getting it for Tracee. This was her opportunity to play her mother in all of her splendor, and no one probably could do it better. And I felt like I got Joan and Rainbow in sequins costumes. Like, she just didn't give me anything different. So there's my spiel.
Jasmine's not holding back today, Carla. Carla, how did you feel about The High Note? Because you can actually sing, Carla.
I can actually sing, but so this is the thing for me. I feel like it was a film that is okay. It's not, you're not going to be like, oh, you got to go see The High Note. It's okay. I was happy to see Calvin Harrison Jr. in it. I was happy to see Ice Cube in it. I was happy to see Tracee Ross doing a feature film, but I just feel like if you're going to do a feature film where you're the star, you probably shouldn't, and it might not be such a bad idea to do something that is as further away of a departure of your real life as possible. Having said that, the one thing I did love is that she did shed light on this one situation where she said 1 out of, 5 women over 40 have #1 hits, and only one of them was Black. I didn't know that. As somebody who had been in the music industry for a long time, I didn't know that. So that was news to me. And I love that Nisha Ganatra directed it, who also directed Late Night with Mindy Kaling. And I just wanted this to be a big hit. I want this to be a big hit for Nisha because she deserved it with Late Night. And I'm afraid she's probably not going to get it with this one.
All right, so Carla's not necessarily feeling The High Note either. If I had to describe this movie in a music term, it would be in between voice, because I'm like right on the 50-yard line. I didn't love the film, but I didn't hate the film. Okay, the highlight for me, I agree with Jasmine. Kelvin Harrison Jr. lights up the screen. He is movie magic. He's movie money. Something about his performance, just his presence is so everything with him I was really into. Dakota Johnson reminded me of every half-brain aspirational assistant I've ever encountered in Hollywood. I actually kind of dug her performance. Tracee Ellis Ross, for me, was just kind of, like, I never saw her beyond Tracee Ellis Ross. I've had encounters with Tracee Ellis Ross where she's both nice, and I've also seen the other side of her. And so, like, watching this, fictitious diva who could, switch between nice, nasty, it just wasn't a departure from who she is in real life. And so it didn't translate for me with the whole fact that you presented, Carla, about the statistics about the amount of women over 40 who ended up having one hit. Maybe this could have been a project that Mary J. Blige could have starred in. Maybe it would have been great to see Jill Scott in a project like this. Maybe somebody who really had vocal chops. But I really do hope that this movie launches the music career of Kelvin Harrison Jr. because his song, I think it's called Take 8, it was so great that I Shazammed it while watching the film because I wanted to know who recorded it, and then I realized he recorded it. So if I had to put this film in the cluster of shows that have made Tracee a household name, Blackish, Mixedish, Grownish, it would be Halfish because it could have been half as long, and I kind of halfway enjoyed it. I would have been mad if I went to a theater to see this, but it would have been great to watch with my mother on quarantine on ABC on a Sunday night.
I think one of the things that people may not know about Kelvin is that he's from New Orleans. He comes from a singing family. So I think he was perfectly cast We didn't bring up Ice Cube. This is his return to film after taking like a 3-year hiatus to launch the Big Three League. And this was a role that brought him back in any superb way. We're used to seeing Ice Cube take over the theaters for a weekend or multiple weekends with his movies, and I don't think this was it for a great first film to come back. But it was a cute role. You didn't expect a lot from him, so I'm not mad at the portrayal. But I do think that this is going to be a great vehicle for Kelvin if he ever decides to launch a music career. I think he should. I'm with you, John. I was Shazamming the heck out of songs, trying to figure out, like, where can I get this? How do I add this to my iMusic, my iPhone, for my music playlist? Because he's really good. Carla, though, I have a question, though, because you did not answer how you thought her singing was. And you are a singing fool, so I want to know your opinion.
Well, Carla,
her singing is okay. I mean, it's okay. She's not known as a vocalist. Now, if she was known as a vocalist and then she made this kind of film, I probably would be a little more harsh with my criticism. But she's not known for singing. Her family member is. So this isn't a film starring her family member. This is the film starring her. So if I have to base it on what she's doing, not ever having seen her do it before, she does an adequate job. It's not that bad, but I personally would have chosen to do something else. And just to piggyback on what you were saying about Kelvin, Kelvin is in The Godfather of Harlem, and he plays a recording artist on that series, which can be found on Epix. And I think they got picked up for another season, so we can catch him over there.
Yeah, he's so talented.
Yeah.
Well, dear Diana Ross, your daughter just starred in the 2.0 version of Mama, I Want to Sing. And the way these ladies and I just talked about it, I don't know if she will keep singing. So let's get now to what we're binging. Carla, we're starting with you.
I love the show that is streaming on Hulu right now. It's called The Great, and it's dealing with Catherine the Great, how she became Catherine the Great, what her marriage was like, and she's starring, and what her husband was like, who is the son of Peter the Great. Catherine the Great is being played by Elle Fanning. Nicholas Hoult is playing the son of Peter the Great. I am a period piece fool. I love my period piece things. I'm a huge Jane Austen buff. I love those types of films. And I loved The Favorite when it came out and it got Oscar Gold. So I'm hoping that, even though we are in quarantine, people check out The Great and they give it some Emmy love when that rolls around.
Okay, checking out The Great.
Jasmine, I know, I'm excited about that.
It's great.
Yeah, The
No
Great is
great.
I binged it, I've watched it, and I'm actually rewatching it, The Last Dance. Only because I loved it so much, and it was 10 episodes, and I wish it was 20. It was so good. And it's something that I'm recommending only because there are a lot of people that I've come in contact with as I've talked about this documentary who still haven't watched it yet. And so they thought, oh, I know a bunch about Michael Jordan. I don't need to see something. I lived that time period in my life, and I kept saying, like, it's so much more. You thought you knew the flu game, but it turned out to be the food poison game. Like, I think there were just so many things that were misconceptions. You find out he was a really funny, goofy guy that was serious about basketball, but personally was actually a nice dude. Kenny Lattimore, who knew that he inspired him before Game 6 with new music that was unreleased. I just think there were so many nuggets and gems. It's worth a rewatch. So anyone who hasn't watched it, I would say it's been binge-worthy. Again, you'll be up like me until 5 a.m. And if you have already seen it, I think it's worth a rewatch. You'll love it if you loved it the first time. But I think it set Twitter on fire for a reason because it is so good. And it really helps us see all of the fabulousness of Michael Jordan, the man, the myth, the machine. And so I just highly recommend it as a second binge. A re-binge is how I'm phrasing it.
I like that one too, Jazz. I thought it was well done. It confirmed why I will never buy a pair of Jordans. But it definitely gave me an insight into Michael Jordan that I did not have. Are you looking forward to watching The Last Dance Tom Brady edition?
I honestly am not a huge football fan, and I don't have a lot of knowledge of Tom, but I love a good documentary. And so if it's as well done, if Jason Ayers is directing this one, I'll watch it. I thought that it was so well directed. So if he is the director for the Tom Brady version, sure, I will give it a watch because I thought the direction and the way in which it was done. I love that it wasn't linear, that it jumped back and forth, kept you on your toes. You really felt like you were in the midst of the game. I thought it was fabulous. So speaking of Emmy nominations, I hope that it gets one.
Well, if they do the Tom Brady, well, they are doing the Tom Brady version. I hope they have a reference to his so-called friend Donald Trump as a former New York resident, the same way they had Barack Obama and the Michael Jordan one as a former Chicago resident.
I love that.
This is what I'm binging. There's a show on Vice called The Dark Side of the Ring. Now, it's no secret I'm a huge professional wrestling fan, but you don't have to be a professional wrestling fan to love The Dark Side of the Ring, because this is the E! True Hollywood story, the VH1 behind the music, TV One's unsung, all rolled up in one, told through the lens of the ID channel crime series style of documentary storytelling. It is fascinating. And some of these stories did transcend into pop culture, like the murder-suicide of pro wrestler Chris Benoit, or wrestling legend Jimmy Superfly Snuka murdering his ex-girlfriend. They dive deep into all of this, and they deal with so many taboo stories in pro wrestling, and you find out a lot of nuances and things. They really lift the ring and open the curtain and expose a lot of the secrets of the business. It's been fascinating. I've had friends watch it who have never even watched a wrestling match that have said, I see why you love this stuff. So the show has had record-breaking ratings for Vice. So if you want to dive into the dark side of the ring, I encourage you to do it. There are 2 seasons waiting on you, and it is worth the watch.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That definitely has heightened my, both of your suggestions actually sound really fabulous to watch. So thanks, guys. We have to say if we think the high note was a must or a bust before we go.
Well, that's a great way to end the show. Carla, we'll start with you.
I'm in the middle. I'm going to be in the middle. I don't think it was a complete bust, but I don't think it's a complete must either.
I'm going to shock you guys. While I did not like it, I will still say it's a must-see for reasons that we brought up earlier. Kelvin deserves for people to see him if they don't know about his talent. Nisha is a great director. I would love for people to see her work because I thought it was beautifully shot. So I'm going to call it a must, even though I personally don't like it. I'm still going to say people should tune in on demand and see it on May 29th. How about that?
And I'm going to join the chorus of calling it a must because it is beautifully shot. It's worth watching this movie. It's way too long. It should be shorter, but it's worth watching it for Kelvin Harris Jr. and his performance alone. And oh, by the way, Tracee Ellis Ross did a conversation with Oprah Winfrey on her WW Best Life Ever tour thing that she's doing this every weekend for the next few weeks. And she revealed that she's going to host a viewing party with Tracee Ellis Ross of The High Note. So no matter what we think about it, Lady Oprah will be watching this movie.
Well, I'm certainly sure she won't be giving her real opinion, but yes.
Oh, Jazz. All right, well, listen, since you're dropping bombs on your way out, Jazz, tell everybody where they can find you. You
guys can find me at Jazzakai, Jazzakai, on all social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Every day I host a Hot Topics show called The Daily Hype, which can be found at hiphollywood.com and on at hiphollywood Instagram.
And my girl, Carla.
Hey, you can find me across all social media platforms at The Curvy Critic. You can find my written reviews of anything we may discuss here at thecurvyfilmcritic.com. And you can also catch me at 5 o'clock on Sundays over at Black Hollywood Live, hosting The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata.
Y'all are two busy ladies. Listen, you can find me at my uniquely spelled name, John Murray, JAWNMURRAY. That's Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And on Facebook, where I'm really active and the folks really like to have good conversation, it's John Murray World. So meet me there. Let's talk. Make sure you like, subscribe this video, share it with a friend. Tell your mama, daddy, sister, brother that we're here and we're having great conversation. Let us know in the comments where you see these videos what you'd like to see us take on next. What would you like for our to binge, and what would you like to be our featured attraction? We're wanting to hear from you. But in the meantime, check out the next Rap Review Roundtable. I'm getting tongue twisted saying the name of this show because I love it too much. But we'll have a new episode for you guys real soon.